everybody. Welcome to the session. I'm Justin Crosley. I'm your host tonight with a bunch of my good friends in the beer world, which I'm excited about. We've got a lot of good brewers in this room and some good people that I've known for years. So I'm really excited about this show. It is our West Coast is the Best Coast show, which was not put together by me. It was put together by a wonderful person on the Faction crew, and that is Brittany Healy. She came to us with this idea and some others, and I was like, yeah, how do you say no to West Coast is the Best Coast? We're that cocky out here in California. We're not really afraid to say it. All right, so real quick, let me thank our sponsor, More Beer. More Beer's been with us since the beginning, and I want to thank them for sponsoring this show and every show that we do. Go check them out at morebeer.com. And like I was saying on the last show, check out the Komos line of kegerators and jockey boxes, plus Duo Tap fittings. Never deal with a hose clamp again if you do the Duo Tap fittings. Check it out over there, and thanks to More Beer for bringing us this show and every show we do. Tonight we have 8 different breweries represented at the Hop Grenade. I don't think we're going to have 8 of them on the show, but we're going to have quite a few. And we're going to talk about one of the world's first ever robot beers. I don't know that they like that description, but it's an AI beer company that is going to take your feedback and turn it into better beer. So we're going to talk to Denim from Deep Liquid about that program. And the brewers that are in this room have agreed to participate in this robot beer situation. So we'll talk about that in the second half of the show. So hang in there. Roger's like, wait, I agreed to what?
Yeah, wait. Check, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you an idea of who's in the room. Roger Davis from Faction Brewing Company is with us. Welcome back to the studio, Roger.
Oh, I'd like to thank everyone.
Just thank yourself. It's fine. Win Weisenhunt from Wondrous Brewing Company is with us. Yeah.
Hey,
the new,
thank you.
We like to call him the Golden Boy. He's the new Golden Boy of the beer world, I think.
I'm like the bronze.
More of a bronze.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, we'll go with bronze.
Yeah. It's better than like the oxidized boy. That's we don't want to be called that.
Not
You
yet.
just hit the fan.
We just canned it today.
Brittany Healy from Faction, who put together this event, is sitting at the studio with us. Welcome, Brittany.
Thank you for having me.
Her first time in the studio. And then Justin, who doesn't even need a last name. He's the Justin. I'm like a second or third or fourth Justin now. Justin from Ghost Town's back with us.
Oh, hey, guys.
Oh, wait, I didn't even turn you on.
What?
There you go.
There he is.
Hey, Justin.
There we are. Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Justin from Ghost Town. Ghost Town, it's worth mentioning, just won 2, I'm embarrassed to mention the second one because it's the Hop Grenade, but 2 People's Choice Awards in one day. The first one was the Bistro Double IPA Festival.
Yes, sir.
Highly prestigious. The second one was the Hazy versus Clear Blind Tasting Challenge, so they didn't even know it was your beer. You won by a landslide here at the Hop
Sweet.
Grenade. You won that vote, too.
Did Faction enter that?
You
They did.
not.
No, they
you
did
weren't in
not.
that one. I don't think you were in that one.
I think you lost round 1.
Yeah, no, well, that was a different...
Someone hold me back.
Faction was in our Brewery of the Year challenge and made it to the Final Four, actually. You made it to the Final Four. That's your second year in a row that you've been in the Hop Grenade Brewery of the Year challenge. And your second year in a row not winning, but that's okay. That's neither here nor there.
I think I'm done here. Where's the exit again?
But I voted for you. If that made it's we let our customers do all the decisions. We pick our favorite 16 breweries, and then the rest is up to the public. But the Final Four. That's pretty good. That's over several weeks of voting. I felt a little bad because Dave, one of your reps, who's a friend of ours and a regular here at the Hop Grenade, he was here the night I announced the Final Four and didn't make it. And he was the only of the Final Four breweries that representing here. And I almost cheated. I was like, fuck, I should just give it to Faction because Dave's still sitting here.
That counts. You should have.
I think like an hour
you could
before.
have. But you didn't.
Yeah, but we didn't. I think Dave was a little brokenhearted, to be honest. But
now I am too.
Well, there's always next year.
Next year.
Maybe. All right. Well, congratulations, Justin and Ghost Town, for those big victories. I feel like those are.
No, we're juiced. Thank you so much. Yeah, the Bistro is a pretty awesome accomplishment.
Yeah.
And, yes.
That's pretty nice.
And Ghost Town making some of the best beer in the Bay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
They really are.
Stop it.
He's like, stop.
No, I
And
want to
maybe a
embarrass
little
you
more.
out of this door right now.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
All right. Fuck.
So we're here. It's SF Beer Week, and it's our first ever West Coast is the Best Coast event, which was the brainchild of Brittany from Faction. So, Brittany, tell us about this. I heard you kind of been dreaming this up for more than even just this year. It's something you've wanted to do for a while.
Yeah, well, I guess in June I will be celebrating my 4-year anniversary at Faction, and as most
Right.
people know, we pretty much only do West Coast IPAs. There was that one beer week we did something with Cellar Maker, but yeah, so
It cleared up over time.
that was the thing, is it was like there were some we made like a hazy with Cellar Maker, but there were a lot of times that folks would say, well, this is clearer than a lot of other.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a firm believer in Faction. We have some of the best beer around, and I just felt like West Coast is the best coast.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a brainchild of mine. Like, I went to account starting, I think, in November, and because that's what you have to do with Beer Week.
For Beer Week, yeah. You got to get on our radar early.
Yeah, and so I was thinking about, all of our friends around the Bay Area, and then there's also RIP, Liquid Gravity, our friends who we've done collabs with, who we really, really love. So I really
Support too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a lot of
involvement,
which I really appreciate.
I'm just lucky that people put their faith in me and that to do this, and I was excited that everybody was able to come out. And
So it's 8 total breweries, right?
yes,
Yeah. So we have 8 on tap, and I think you're doing another one at the Good Hop tomorrow.
Yes. So tomorrow is at the Good Hop. So what I'm hoping is that folks will come to this event and then come tomorrow, because tomorrow we have a terribly gaudy trophy, and people will be rating the beer from. We'll have like some flights going on, and folks can
They can vote, right?
Vote, yeah. So it's the same time frame tomorrow at the Good Hop.
Okay.
And we're hoping to do this hopefully every beer week.
I love this.
Yeah.
We've done enough voting around here at the Hop Grenade, so I'm glad that the voting's happening at the Good Hop. But people can come out and vote for their favorite West Coast, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can the brewers schmooze and bribe and different things in the crowd? That's allowed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's why I was telling everybody at Faction, I'm like, come out. I'm like,
Right.
I need your votes.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure of all the ABC rules, and there's a fuck ton of them, there's not one against bribing people to vote for your beer. I haven't heard that ever before.
Yeah, you can't give away money.
Okay. Well, you can't give away money to drink your beer, but you can give away. What is there anything about voting for your beer? I feel like this is new territory.
There's no monetary value to it.
Roger charges you for
Wait.
Right.
Everything's going south here. You're not allowed to give money away.
At all?
Maybe.
Up to $3. Up to $3. Less than $3.
I was telling you, I think voting's not on their radar yet. I think by next year, Brittany, if you keep this up,
my
there'll be a
gosh.
rule
Depends
about
on the
whether-
way.
I
God.
don't doubt
Hopefully.
it. I
Yeah.
don't doubt it.
If we win, we did
Healy
not. We did
There
not.
was no money exchanged. Yeah.
We did not.
Well, I think it's a cool idea.
Awesome.
It's a fun event.
And I really, really appreciate y'all for having us, and all the brewers coming out, everybody, all the squads coming out. We really, really appreciate everyone.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
I'd like to give an anti-shout out to Brendan from Liquid Gravity for not showing up.
Yeah, it turns out he's. I just got a text from him. He's working.
Yeah, he had to brew beer or
I guess
something.
when you own a brewery, that you have to do that?
It's ironic.
Yeah.
But you-
I was like, whatever, cool story,
to
bro.
work.
You should be at this event. Yeah, he had to double batch today, or I don't know what. I don't know what that means.
Send us pictures of that brew log.
to be honest,
Let's see what's really up. Oh,
Sure,
Justin's not
but-
buying it. Yeah.
no.
to be honest, it's hard work.
Yeah.
It's not easy work. But
Yeah, I think he's down a brewer or something. But oh well.
I'll come,
That's his
I'll
own
come down
fault,
there and
though.
brew a batch for you, Brandon.
Oh, that's what he needs. Listen to that.
Damn.
Yeah, that was a really complimentary, condescending offer, and I like it.
I love you.
Yeah,
I love you. Mean it.
I mean it. Yeah. All right. Well, we have a couple of the beers in our glass, and we're here to talk about some West Coast style beers tonight. I feel like I should interview you guys about different people's beer. I don't know how that's going to go.
Oh, yeah.
Win, are you okay with that? Because Roger's drinking yours.
Perfect.
I'm also drinking yours, so I can chime in with Roger.
Well, I have an upchuck bucket over here, so I'm
Just
good.
in case you need it.
Thank God.
Okay, so Roger and I are both drinking Wondrous Double Dry Hopped Creek Park.
So
Well, wait. Let's at
Okay,
least let
sorry.
Win tell us what's in it.
I'm just wondering why the dry hop didn't go right the first time.
It went so bad, we had to redo it, a.k.a. double.
Yeah, that's the double.
It is.
Tell us about the beer.
So this beer kind of starts off as a half two-row, half Pilsner base. It's a very kind of like easy, crispy, clean, pale kind of a base. No heavy, no wheat malt, no oats or wheat in there or anything like that. Pretty basic, low mash, and hopping kettle-wise.
What do you mean by low mash?
I mean, like,
Temperature?
Not a low, low mash
Well, like
temperature.
what?
Which is what?
148, 149?
150 kind of gets us finishing around
It's
like
not
one
low.
and a half Play-Doh, right around there.
Okay.
It's not
but,
147, but
Whoa. So it's like at the West Coast. There's like a very significantly small bittering edition, and then everything kind of comes in later. Heavy Nelson Citra Simcoe in the kettle, a 10-minute, 5-minute, big old Whirlpool edition. Actually, this beer we kind of experimented because it's kind of like the new wave of doing some lower Whirlpool temperatures with the hop editions in there, which we haven't really done, but we're kind of like, we're being persuaded by some very prestigious brewers.
So
and we're
that's like
all right.
below 160 or something?
Like right around 170. We didn't get that low. We got like around 180 with this beer because this was literally the first time with us like trying this new procedure, and
Yeah.
we kind of bumped up the hops a little bit in the kettle because we're like, oh hey, it's a little bit lower. We can kind of push a little bit more in there and see what happens.
Okay.
So kind of a nice, beautifully hoppy work going into the fermenter. A nice, clean 65-degree ferment with Cal Ale 001.
whoa,
Yeah.
65?
Calm down,
Whoa.
dude. This isn't a cold IPA.
Yo, dang it. Don't get me started.
Shit's getting crazy already.
And then so it's mostly as big Nelson Citra dry hop bomb, but we like to kind of throw a wrench in things with the double dry hop version to kind of differentiate it from the normal version it's the normal Citra Nelson dry hop, but we also add extra on top of that. Sometimes the same hops, sometimes a little bit different.
Couple more pellets.
Yes, one or like to three more pellets in the whole
Are
batch.
we talking about like the exact same as the first in poundage or like less?
We're talking the Citra Nelson is the exact same as like a normal Creek Park recipe, but then we're adding another like.
But is it a double the amount or?
Yes,
it
it
is
double
Okay.
the amount and
double
one
the
time.
time.
We're not doing like a 2-stage thing. We're just like, I just want to open up this tank one time,
I see.
throw everything in there, close that baby up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not 2 times dry hops.
It's not 2 times.
It's just double the amount in one. Okay,
Exactly.
all right.
Yeah.
So that's the interpretation of DDH?
DDH.
Use your imagination. And
Well, I mean,
whatever you want.
it's a conversation that Justin's over there. He's just like the
I
same
always
as
thought it
me.
meant
I thought
that
it
you
was
do
like
it
you put it
twice.
in 2 times.
Sure. I mean, I think there's
Not
kinda,
just once.
I think there's 2 different ways of approaching it, and for us,
You defined it as
for
double the amount.
Yeah, I like doing double the amount, and it's like procedure wise, like in the brewery, practically it's like we're only climbing up on a ladder one time and
Right.
doing, and like exposing the beer one
Yeah.
time.
Well,
And
your Jeremy from Lagunitas is like mentality. Just throw it in there the first time because I'm lazy.
And don't
Exactly.
why
And
not
that's what
twice?
I prescribe to that same thing. But I'm looking at Justin across the path here, and he's like,
Well,
that's not how double dry hop is.
I'm no
it
scientist,
is.
but that sounds like a single dry hop.
Yeah, because you're putting it in at one time.
One.
I mean, I'm not a mathematician either, but I
love
think that's
every-
only one time.
I love every statement that starts with I'm not a.
I'm not.
But
But the,
well, did you taste? So do you? I assume since you have a double dry hop Creek Park, you have a single dry hop.
we certainly do.
I'm just checking. Okay, and then
and apparently
did
he
you
only has
notice a
another
difference?
version of it.
Yeah, I do. I notice a big difference, and we actually in a mysterious way, like to kind of do the extra dry hops in DDH Tree Park with a different variety.
Okay.
So there's a slight change in overall like aroma and performance to the beer.
Yeah.
So this actually has, on top of the Nelson Citra, it has Mosaic Cryo and Columbus Cryo.
Oh, nice.
This time around.
Okay.
And yeah, it's kind of fun to kind of switch it up because a lot of the hops that we use, they're so big and saturated, like they're already so loud and powerful that like our normal dry hops pretty good. So like if we just doubled that amount, it's a little bit better, but it's like it's still it's kind of similar. So we kind of like to change it up a little bit. And
Okay.
It's kind of fun for me to throw something else in the beer to kind of see what happens.
All right, Roger, your impressions of the beer. What do you think? Oh, come on.
That's the point.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah, it's supposed to knock you out.
Yeah. Hops help you sleep, dude.
Wow, victory.
It smells and tastes like a single hop. No, I'm just kidding.
No way.
Like a single dry hop.
It's just, yeah.
I mean, it's a
SDH.
great beer, but I think we're going into this realm right now where everyone's saying DDH, and no one really knows what the fuck that is.
Okay.
And single dry hop, you just throw it all in there the first time.
Mm-hmm.
That's always the way at Faction we've done that. But now it's like...
It's still
people are like,
semantics, though. If you're doubling the amount, there's
But-
an argument to be made. It's double the dry hops. Do you have to put a T in there?
What-
DTDH?
Double.
Okay,
and
let's
double
talk
in
about-
parentheses, the amount dry hop.
without starting an argument with starting one,
Yeah.
what are you saying? What is
Well,
double
how do you,
the amount?
before you answer that, how do you like the beer?
It's great.
Okay, thank
Oh,
you.
thanks.
hazy.
Finally.
It's hazy.
I didn't pry that one out of
I
you.
know. He doesn't like complimenting you.
No,
Tell me about it.
I really don't.
It's struggle. It's a
But
struggle.
the bottom line is like, if we're putting 5 pounds per barrel into a freaking
Yeah.
beer,
Yeah,
who gives a shit how you put it in there?
I see.
If it's on the hot side or cold side, that's what we care about as brewers. It's like, we don't need it a pound on the hot side, but it's 4 pounds on the
Sure.
Sure.
cold
Oh, yeah.
side, and it's
Yeah.
like,
But what if...
why didn't you do it right the first time?
I just feel like
it's still my thing. It's
like
like,
the double dry hop thing is I'm gonna throw it out there. It's totally. It's kind of like a marketing thing too. It's like people like they have
you.
these brands that they love. People are so used to. They're comfortable with what they love, and like, what's better than like seeing something you love turned up to 11? Like
Turned.
Yeah, like getting turned up.
Yeah.
but it's
You know?
to 9. You know,
Well, but
it's like,
see, so that's what I was going to say is, yes, there's the brewer's perspective where you're just thinking about the logistics of
Practicality.
it. But then there's Brittany's perspective, who's got to sell the beer.
Yeah.
And then I'm
she
like,
sells Faction. It sells about,
and she probably
it sells
wishes
itself.
she probably wishes you'd put DDH on a couple of those beers.
I mean,
Slap that thing on there.
You are right. I mean, that's the thing is if it's like, it's one of our core beers, but
DDH.
Dude,
Yeah,
I will
I mean,
line up
absolutely.
for DDH Penske file right now.
I'll pre-buy the batch.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop making that now, just because of this conversation.
Yeah.
It's-
All right. Just because of timing, now Win is drinking the Faction beer that we have on tonight, which is
Oh.
called Jug Dish.
Jug dish.
It's a hard name for me to say.
can
I want to
you
say
can
like
ex-
Judge-ish. I keep trying
I
to
almost
miss.
said judges when I ordered it.
Where's the name from?
Roger, go for it.
Oh boy.
Seriously, you don't watch Seinfeld?
Oh, of course.
Is
classic.
every beer a Seinfeld beer?
Yes.
Oh,
95%.
yeah. So it's a Seinfeld reference.
It's a Seinfeld reference when Elaine called Jerry in the backward episode, which was at the end of the seasons. I think it was the last season.
Okay.
She basically called him in India. Jugdish was Jerry,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
and
Jug Dish.
she was hammered,
Nice.
and she said, "Good night, Jugdish."
I think Goodnight Jug Dish is an even better name. You should do a second beer, maybe a dark version.
Maybe the double dry hop version.
There you go. DDH is Goodnight
Does
Jug
anyone
Dish.
not see the smile on my face?
Roger is not smiling right now.
All right, before I have Win, young Win, evaluate your beer, can you tell us about it, please, Roger?
The beer itself, it's something that we basically dry hopped twice. I'm kidding.
Amazing.
The amount or the times you dry hop?
Yeah.
No, we it was we got into this new company that was selling hops, and we got their Nelson hops. So we used Nelson and Strata,
Nice.
which were really two new hops when we came up with this beer, I think 2 years ago, maybe a year.
I think last year was
Was
the
it
first
last year?
Yeah.
Don't confuse me with facts, Brittany. But last year was like the first time we married those two hops, and to be honest with you, I really liked it out of the fermenter, and we kind of ran with it. And it all our, I think when you go down the line, everyone's going to say that everything is a simple malt bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck about malt
Anymore.
anymore.
Is yours churro?
It's 2-row and a little bit of hops.
That's
A little bit of
Classic.
little bit of GNO. I think we used in this, and I think we used a bag of toasted wheat.
okay.
Nice.
All right.
Fuck you and your toasted wheat.
Justin doesn't like toasted meat.
That's hazy territory,
Because you don't know how to use it, bro.
Oh,
Yeah, toast this, bitch.
Did you have a bad experience with toasted wheat, Justin?
Totally joking. Totally.
We
I feel like it was his idea.
We did a collaboration with these guys over here at what is it called again? What's her?
We are called.
What's it called again?
Fuck. What are we called? Oh, Ghost Town.
Oh,
Ghost
yeah.
It's like
these-
graveyard or something.
Graveyard.
No, but
Town.
I went double what you
Gravy
recommended. I think, and it was
Well, you shouldn't have done that.
the beer came out great though. No.
No, that beer came out. Anyways, this is
I'm just
crosstalk.
joking. I'm just joking. I'll shut
Anyways, I don't know. It's a beer that I really love, and I think those two hops go really well
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We can get into like
Single dry hop, though. I'm not joking, but you dry hopped it once
Yeah.
with the amount of hops that you wanted. Yeah.
climbing up on the ladder. Why are you going up there again?
Yeah.
You
What
know,
about this colder temperature whirlpool thing? Are you messing with that at all?
Yeah, we've been getting it down. I think Wynn talked about it. We're bringing it down by cold temperature water additions. So
Oh.
we're actually getting it down to like 185. So our yields are going up.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, you're adding water back into the whirlpool.
So like a concentrated
into
wort,
into the beer.
Oh, whoa.
Damn.
not at the whirlpool. So like a concentrated
It-
wort.
On the essentially.
Yeah. And then not adding water to the whirlpool. You're not using that to cool
Just
it down.
adding it.
You okay to cool it
Cold
down?
water
yeah.
though, not hot water.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Cold water. So you're bringing the temperature down and then moving it over to the whirlpool.
Okay. But you're saying you're still in the 180s when you're
185, 190,
okay.
depends.
Okay.
Sure.
What's the idea? I didn't ask Win. What's the idea behind this cooler temperature hop whirlpool
You're not,
hopping?
you're not getting the aroma.
Like
burning
it's,
off.
yeah,
Bursting
it's
off.
not volatilizing. I mean, you know a lot about this, Justin, because I know he does. He designed his brew house, the whole new brew house for this. But it's like right around that 170 temperature. You're not isomerizing alpha acids. You're kind of like saturating the wort with oils and stuff, and it's not coming out. It's a little bit of a softer, saturated, more oilier hop flavor rather than like
Okay.
all that kind of like chlorophyll-y bitterness that you don't really want.
Yeah.
And I talked to a lot of kind of like modern brewers that are making amazing West Coast IPAs, and that's kind of like the MO. That's kind of like the normal thing nowadays is to
Okay.
kind of like lower that whirlpool temp, do a huge old dry or whirlpool edition, and the flavors are just.
I hope it
coming
stays
through.
in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
But
Roger.
I would like to say that Faction is very old school in our brewing, and that's because I'm old school.
Everybody knows that. Yeah.
You're just old.
C60.
Wow, Brittany, that one hit home.
Come on.
But the bottom line is like we do a lot of our beers in the old school tradition that we do for hot additions,
Okay.
for hot side additions, like a bittering, a flavoring, more flavoring, if that makes any sense, and then a whirlpool addition.
Okay.
So we're like,
You're still doing multiple kettle additions.
whereas like a lot of people have like deviated to the point where they're like, oh yeah, we'll just do West Coast style or East Coast style beers, but West Coast style them.
yeah.
Okay.
Where you're like, all right, we'll just add a little bit of flavoring hop and then do a big discharge to whirlpool and then dry up the fuck out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Whereas like we kind of I kind of like that, and Tasty is the one that it didn't introduce me to this, but he told me this, and he's like, yeah, you want to build that flavor.
Yeah.
hop flavor.
Layer it on there.
Yeah,
Layer it.
through the boil. Like Nate Smith and I always talk about like a 30-minute edition, how it kind of adds some
We
like
do that.
hot
We do
body
that. We
and
do
hot
that on
flavor.
essentially every one of
Yeah.
our beers.
I think it's a beautiful thing. I love it.
And 9 out of 10 brewers who come in here, even those brewing West Coast IPAs, don't say that anymore. It's like they've
Right.
gotten rid of the 30-minute.
That's
Like the
old.
30 what? Oh,
What?
Yeah.
You actually put hops in the boil? Wow.
It's it's called a boil kettle, not a
And
kettle.
we're not in 1920 anymore.
Yeah. Thanks for your
I am gonna bitch smack
pre-prohibition
this
IPA.
motherfucker.
No, I still do hop in the boil, Roger. I love you and I trust you. I'm the same with you there. I'm just experimenting this one batch, okay?
All right, so how do you like the beer? How do
I
you
love
like
the
Roger's
beer.
beer?
As most faction beers, I love it with all my heart. It does have like a really beautifully crisp, like Nelson kind of like diesel flavor to it. Maybe from that 30-minute edition. But no, it's a great like aromatic beer. I think I can like it's nice and round and soft, and it's like yes, there's some bitterness that I love in a West Coast IPA, but it's not overwhelming at all. It's awesomely aromatic. It's just like, Roger and y'all can't do any wrong with brewing West Coast
You can do
IPA.
none wrong.
So no complaints here. But yeah, no, it's like awesome beer. Nelson's coming through great. Some like cool pineapple strata-y thing going on. But
Okay.
I like it.
That's a good evaluation, I think.
Yeah.
What, Roger?
I'll take that.
Yeah, you after tasting it yourself, yeah, you're like, all right.
Yeah. When you have passed the test.
Oh, thanks. That'll be
$100,
$30, Roger.
Here, just take this.
All right, well,
$100.
we've got more beer to get through, including Justin's beer, who's sitting, I feel like he's just sitting there, you know.
No beer.
He's
An
about to
empty glass.
explode.
Well,
I
with
literally
knowledge.
walked in here. I was finishing my pint. I was like,
I'd be happy
"This
to
is
do
rushed.
a-
This place
do a
is
round
packed."
trip.
the old Justin would sit here and really like soak up the information.
This
I
old
feel
Justin
like
or you old Justin?
The new award-winning Justin is
Yeah.
just sitting there judging everybody.
Yeah, I feel
That's
like
right. Like, doesn't he
I
just
see
look
that. I
like
see
he's just on his little high horse over there? With
He's like, when's the last medal you received?
Fuck you,
bitches.
Y'all suck.
I mean, we're no GABF Brewery of the Year.
yeah, right.
We're not
double. Two
Let me-
golds.
I
double
tried.
IPA.
I tried both Faction and Wondrous beers,
Yeah.
and may I say they are delicious.
No, you cannot say that.
Did you
We're going to
I'm
commercial.
joking. I'm joking.
did you have
No,
the,
no, they're great.
did you have the Pizza Port beer yet?
No, I've only had two
That's
beers
totally
since I
fine
showed up
because
here,
we're
so I
going
need
to
to get a
taste
few
that
more of
next.
my.
So
Yes,
I'm
sweet.
setting us up because I'm going to bring Justin back and at least one of you. I haven't decided which. I'm going to flip a coin. No, we're going to do more brewer
Nice.
talk. We're also going to bring Deep Liquid in here to talk about this robot beer, right? We're going to talk about AI
Robots.
beer, and I want us to
Robots.
taste some Ghost Town, and I want us to taste some Pizza Port, and I want us to taste some Rip. We've got Ian from Rip Brewing here too, so we've got a lot left to do. Hang out with us. We'll be back. You're listening to The Session. Hang in there. Welcome back to The Session. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We are doing our West Coast is the Best Coast night, and as part of that, I get to hang out with a bunch of very cool brewers. Well, most of them are cool anyway, but their beer's really good, and I'm excited to have everybody in the studio. We've got a new round of brewers, plus we've got my old friend Dick Cantwell has decided to join us in the studio tonight to talk about a new project he's getting involved with, and probably just to hang out with me is what I think he's really here for. But move those microphones really close to yourselves there. And then also we've got Ian from Rip Beer Company back with us. Ian is always so nice to us here, not only at the Brewing Network, but the Hop Grenade. Got us beer for Beer Week, gets us beer for Tasty Event, gets us beer for Pale Fest. Like anything we ask of you, man.
Whatever
You're
you
always-
need, Justin, we got you covered.
Dude, I appreciate it so much. And I love your beer.
Thank you.
It's one of the 3 beers in my glasses. I'm not going to lie. I totally forgot which glass is which at this point. But I poured myself all the beers at the break thinking I'm going to talk about it. And instead, I'm just going to let you talk about it. I do know... Can you guess your beer already, Justin?
Oh yeah, totally.
I think
Well,
I
our
think
beer,
our
our
collab, yeah, I can
Oh, it's a
tell.
collab. You're right. Which
Yeah.
one?
It's a small glass.
It's the
right
little
there.
guy,
Yes,
right? Okay,
yes.
that's the only one I remember because it's of a different side. So I'm glad I did that so we can talk about your beer.
Sweet. Poured
Your
4 ounces
Raider
of
Bob
it.
too.
So we got Ian and Justin from Ghost Town back in the studio. And then I would like to welcome, for the first time ever to the studio, I'd like to welcome Denim from Deep Liquid. Welcome, man.
Thank you.
all the way from Australia.
Yes.
Yeah, we sent the Brewing Network private jet out there, and
Thank you for that.
yeah, you're welcome.
It's very comfortable.
Now, Denham actually has a brewery in Australia as well, right? What's the brewery?
Barossa Valley Brewing
Okay,
in the Barossa Valley, which is just north of Adelaide.
okay, I know exactly where that is. You know that, right?
It's hallowed wine country, but yeah.
Okay, great. And you're out here for SF Beer Week to experience this whole thing. And, of course, to talk about, I teased it at the beginning of the show, Deep Liquid, which is using AI for brewers to maybe get some better feedback and make beer better, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You did it perfectly, yeah. I
Okay.
don't have to say anything more. Done. I can leave now.
Well, we are going to dive into it, and we're going to let the brewers sort of chime in on that, too. But Dick had reached out to me a month or so ago and told me about this project, and I just thought it was the coolest thing because I like robots, and I also like not denying where the future is going. And I also, like, as a restaurant owner, too, I'm a big fan, actually, of Yelp. You don't hear a lot of, like, restaurant owners say that, but I'm a big fan of customer feedback. And my opinion is that's because I'm smart enough to read through the bullshit, right? Like, you kind of can read trends when you get any restaurant owner or brewery who's like, oh, I hate that stuff. I'm like, I don't know, man. You're just not paying attention. You can weed through this stuff. Okay, but with AI, it sort of weeds through it for you. So when Dick told me about this project, I was instantly interested in it, and we're going to talk about that today, too. But first, we're still on our West Coast is the best coast topic, and part of that is Rip Brewing Company came in here. And before Justin has to go, Justin's a newish dad, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
He's got this man has to leave sometimes.
He's rocking dadhood.
In fact, you know, he just won a bunch of awards, like this weekend alone, like not even in the past year, but this weekend. And he's not allowed to be at events anymore, not because his wife said that or whatever, but because they always win when Justin's not there.
Correct.
You're now officially blackballed, right?
No, I already canceled my trip to the World Beer Cup.
You're not even allowed to go to that.
Not fucking going.
Which sucks. It's in Nashville. I like hanging out with you, but I agree with your team. You are not allowed.
No, fuck no.
Yeah.
Can you go and we can just hang out downtown and just party while the award ceremony happens?
Good question.
Maybe.
But when he loses, and then he feels like, no, I screwed that
I know,
up.
I'm like, yeah, it's
Because there's no one else to blame.
No, you're right. No, so I mean,
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know. It's a tough one right now because
Eventually,
I want to
you
go
got
to
let go of the magic feather.
yeah.
No, right. Well, this magic feather just found us though.
Right, and
we're-
it's still working.
Hold on to it.
No,
pretty
while
tight,
it
man.
works, but you remember Dumbo lost the magic feather, so I
Oh yeah, I did.
He did what?
You're referring to my ears.
Also, what I mean is he didn't need it, but he didn't know that.
No, you're right.
Also-
I know, but I'm also a Raiders fan, so I.
Well, and I was gonna say-
Inspirational quote from Dick Cantwell.
Dick, also, I happen to know, is a massive baseball fan. And if superstition isn't alive and well anywhere, but in baseball, it's not alive and well at all.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you sometime about the story of my watching the 1987 World Series when the Twins won, because I'm a Twins fan.
Oh, that's right. You're like a dual fan.
They won all the games that I watched on my little black and white TV, and when I was invited to somebody else's house to watch it on a nice TV for Game 7, I sat in the corner facing the opposite direction and watched it on my TV.
Oh, my God.
And they won.
And they won. There we go. Yeah.
See?
So the superstition is alive
You're
and
not
well.
going to Nashville. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, you can't go. All right, well, let's start with your collab beer. Was it brewed at Ghost Town?
Yep, the third year in a row.
Yes.
This is annual, and we will continue to bring this beer back every SF Beer Week because we fucking love it.
It's a great beer. Tell us about the beer.
So West Coast IP, obviously, and the malt bill originally was influenced by Ian, which it still is.
Which is what?
It's a 2-row. It's like a 50-50 2-row Gambrinus. Oh, no, I think it was like 40% Gambrinus Pilsner.
Probably like a 60-40, yeah.
Yeah, 60-40 with about 8% raw wheat
White
malt,
wheat.
white wheat malt.
Okay.
A little acidulated. And then first wort hop with Mosaic, bitter with Mosaic, Mosaic at 30, Mosaic at 5, Mosaic Incognita, Mosaic Cryo, Mosaic T90 in the Whirlpool.
Wow.
I mean, this beer originally was inspired by what Other Half was doing with their HDHC project.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like kind of my first, I think both of our first foray into HDHC. And what does that look like? And how do you make that happen? And so taking Mosaic and just spreading it in every possible form and fashion.
In all the
throughout
different
the beer.
varieties of it. Yeah.
Totally.
Okay.
Beautiful hop.
It is.
Beautiful hop. Yeah.
So before we talk more about Mosaic, I do want to go back to the malt bill real quick.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fresh on my mind because I just did a show last night with another brewery who was telling me almost all their IPAs are now just Pilsner malt. And even the double IPA that I was drinking last night was all 100% Pilsner malt. And I was a little surprised about it, but I brought it up to Win, who was on the show earlier today, and he's like, yeah, no, a lot of brewers are doing that now. And I was kind of surprised by that. You're still doing Two Row and some others also. What do you think about this all Pilsner malt versus what you chose,
Well,
Ian?
what I'll say about that is, I mean, this is the third year running with this beer. And so we have made some changes to some of our recipes
Okay.
over the time. And we do some IPAs with all Pilsner malt. We do some IPAs that are, all two-row.
Yeah.
We do some that are a blend of both. The white wheat, like that 10 to 15% white wheat,
Yeah.
is the common thread through a lot of our beers.
Okay.
We've pulled out all of the Carapils, dextrin malt. We're really not using any of that anymore.
Yeah.
And so, like, all that body, that foam, that head retention is kind of coming from the wheat.
Got it. Okay.
Not just from, but you know what I mean? Majority.
Dick, I hope you don't mind me pulling you into this conversation because, look, I've been doing this for like 18 years.
Sure.
These interviews. And hearing all Pilsner, 100% Pilsner malt double IPAs is kind of new to me. And I'm curious, as a brewer, what you think.
Well, of course, I've seen IPA change a great deal, and watched it gradually be stripped down over the years.
Yeah.
I'm all for it, especially with what we've got going on with hops, especially in the last 10, 15 years, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what you want to show off. You want a blank slate for that.
Okay.
You want good malt character. You want solid mouthfeel and all that stuff. And you want enough texture so you've got a decent head. But beyond that, it's all about the hops.
Okay.
So you want nice, clean, nice malt flavor, nothing that sticks too much on your tongue.
Sure. And then Mosaic being the perfect hop for exactly what you're describing to showcase.
Oh yeah.
So there's not another hop but
No,
Mosaic?
there are
in it?
other hops in
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's Mosaic heavy in the kettle, but the dry hop has other buddies in there. So, as Ian's, I mean, he's the one. Ian is the Columbus Cryo king.
Okay.
Well,
No,
I hear that.
No, anybody that uses Columbus Cryo, it's only because this motherfucker turned us on to it.
Okay.
So,
Because that's sort of...
You're welcome,
that's-
YCH.
That sounds kind of unusual. A high alpha,
Yeah,
something
but
like that.
I'm telling you, Columbus Cryo, and I
Small-
absolutely
small
adore
doses.
it. Small doses. Here's the secret: we're using it like half a pound per barrel, and it's always an active fermentation dry hop. About day 4, day 5, whatever the tail end of your active fermentation is, and it gives this beautiful danky grapefruit pith. It's lovely,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it provides a great backbone that you can layer on top of that. Either more of those danky OG classic varietals, or the super fruity Mosaics, the Galaxies, the Nelsons, whatever you want.
Sounds neat. I wouldn't have thought so.
Pretty rad.
And it's great to see the comeback of a sea hop like that.
Yeah.
There's a beer on tap we have from Altamont, and I'm going to speak out of turn because I'm not positive this what it is, but it's called New Seas, Old Seas, and I think they use old.
But it is. Yeah.
And then
I was
some
talking to
cryo
Steven
stuff.
about it yesterday. So
Okay.
all the kettle hops are old C's.
Okay,
The
so
Centennials, the Cascades, the
Chinook, man.
regular
Chinooks,
pellets,
whatever it is.
basically. Yeah. Okay.
and then all of the dry hop is all New C's.
Which are New Seas and hops or New Seas like cryo?
Or Citra.
Citra,
Citra, I see, okay.
Citra or Cryo, whatever it is. Yeah,
Okay, got it.
Anything cryo is a sea hop.
that's
I see.
very true.
Yeah, there you go. It's all cryo. Yeah. So this is a great beer, guys. And I think this is the one that won on Saturday here. Is that right?
I think the last 3 years. It's actually this is our third year winning
At our hazy?
hazy clear, and it's incidental
It's always this
mortality
beer?
every year.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
This shit stink as fuck, dude.
Oh yeah,
It
totally.
I mean,
is,
because
yeah.
it's one of those. It's like it's Mosaic fucking heavy,
Yeah.
and then we get that cryo to boof it up. We get a little Galaxy in there, and even when the Galaxy's been bad, it's just like a touch of Galaxy. This year actually, I think the Galaxy is fucking popping. It's our 22 Galaxies, and then we finish it with just a splash of Idaho 7.
Okay.
But I mean, again, it's a Mosaic-driven beer.
Sure.
And then
It's a little texture.
Yeah, we get the dank from the Columbus Cryo. You get that weird tropicalness from the Galaxy, and then your Idaho 7 can go anywhere from like an herbal to a little pineapple.
Sure.
But we're all Mosaic. I mean, you talk to any West Coast brewer, like Mosaic is
Yeah.
the ultimate big hop that you use, right? So-
Yeah, I made a joke, I think it was last night, the days are all blurring together, but on the show last night that I was mentioning that we'd have 8 brewers on tap today, and I was questioning whether any of them didn't have Mosaic in their IPA. Is there Mosaic in the Pizza Port? There's Mosaic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's Mosaic in the Liquid Gravity because that guy doesn't know how to make a beer without Mosaic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
You got,
So
you
of
got
the
Raider
8
Bob
beers,
on tap. Raider
it's-
Bob has Mosaic and Citra. Yeah.
That one also,
Yeah.
yeah. I was just thinking. Which look, nothing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's just that good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If anybody ever talks shit on Mosaic, send them our way. 'Cause
I
you're
will.
like,
I'll do that.
This
Yeah.
is
I don't think I've ever heard that. I've heard people talk shit about Simcoe. I've even heard people.
I'll do that.
You'll do that? I did in the beginning. It was too catty for me.
Well, it reminds me of peanut shells.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And there are,
All right,
there
all
are
right.
beers that people use it in that I love when it's used in tandem or other combinations with other hops. But
Sure.
just by itself, I don't know. I mean, I respect it, but to me, it's not really to my taste. But it's that peanut shell.
Is that the
thing.
peanut shell or is it the red skin of the peanut?
It's the shell.
The
That's
shell, itself.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you chew on a peanut shell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
no, yeah.
I can see that. Yeah. And I've had people complain about Citra too, which to me, Citra's like
Ooh, I love
Mosaic.
Citra.
That's
I
so
love
palatable, Citra, right? Like, I'm like, how do you not like Citra? But
No.
yeah, there's some. Either that or they're just complainers, which is what the AI is for. It's going to weed them out, I feel like.
Well, so I'm curious, and I didn't want to jump the gun on the AI, but like, what are you seeing in terms of feedback for your grist? Are you seeing more of the 2-row? Is it 2-row heavy? Or are they Pilsner heavy? Like, what's that feedback look like?
Well, it depends on how we are working it, and this is an introduction, right? So this is all very, very new. But with my brewery, what we're doing is we are giving it a recipe, and we are actually training a neural network, right? So I don't know if I need to tell you what a neural network is, but basically that is like a computer brain,
Yeah.
right? And we train this to give it parameters, right? So I was having this discussion a little while ago, and so the first beer we brewed, I was really surprised. Everybody went, "Oh, this tastes like a Barossa Valley Brewing beer." Our beer is brewed in wine country. They're really big, bold, hoppy, and they're like, we thought a beer brewed with artificial intelligence would be quite homogeneous, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, if we said just brew us the most popular beer, it would taste like Tsingtao, right? Most popular beer in the world.
Sure.
But we trained the neural network to give it parameters. So to answer your question in a very long about way is that it depends on the style and depends on what we give the neural network the training to say, okay, take this in, exclude this. So yeah, it excludes the rubbish that you don't want, and it takes in the stuff that fits in your parameters.
Mm-hmm.
But something like that, the initial part of it is getting feedback from customer comments when they've scanned the QR code and typed in their responses to some very basic questions.
Yeah.
But if the brewer has provided the AI with the actual recipe, then it could get specific enough to make recipe suggestions that might say use all Pilsner malt or augment it with some sugar or something.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, or whatever it was, you might not have even had Pilsner malt as an option for that
Right.
for that substitution.
Yeah.
And Dick's right. We talk about this a lot, and Dick talks about it. This is just a tool, right?
Yeah, totally.
And you can use it as much or as little as you want. But the first sort of step is, what are your customers saying, right? Is it too hoppy? Is it,
Or what kind of hoppy?
Right, exactly, right? So
Do you want something that's reminiscent of Mosaic or Citra, or do you want something more dank?
Yeah.
But it still has to be questions that your customers can understand.
what we've done is
Right.
we have, and honestly, so I'm not referring to this as a launch, right? I'm
Yeah.
referring to this as an introduction.
The Brewing Network never gets to launch. We never get the scoop,
well,
Ian. What
No,
the?
no, this is the scoop. This is
Okay, okay.
definitely
I'll take
a
the scoop. That's good
right?
enough.
This
Okay.
is definitely a scoop, right? So once it's launched, it's too late. It's not a scoop, right?
You're
You've
right.
got
You're
the
right.
scoop.
Okay, perfect. I'll take
So what we're doing is we are trying to identify what is that sweet spot, right? Because with data, you want volume, right? Now, if you get, like, we're having this discussion, like, this is not a radical idea. All brewers, and I have a brewery, we talk to people, we try to use our monkey brains to try to understand all the comments that we're getting, right? And we try to filter out the rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we often
This
listen
beer
to...
sucks.
Yeah, right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll filter
One
that
star.
out.
I don't like
Filter
IPA.
that out. Okay,
One
yeah.
star.
Yeah, you filter out the untapped stuff, and then you're right. So,
Yeah.
but what you end up doing is you also listen to the guy who's at your bar regularly, and it's that if you get narrow, small amounts of data, it doesn't allow you to make the best decisions. So if we can get broad data and use AI to filter that out, and then put it into a format the brewers can use, it allows us to make the best decisions, right? Now, we've done this in a small little experiment with my brewery, but it has worked.
I heard you ended up winning an award with a beer that you took this feedback from.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm in hallowed company here, so I don't want to be like, I'm very nervous about talking about my little awards in Australia, right? But yeah, we won
Awards
like,
are awards.
Yeah.
well, we won like our version of the BAs, the IBAs here. We won Champion State Brewery. We won and the International Beer Awards in Australia is actually the largest annual beer awards in the world. And this beer, we went through 3 iterations very quickly, though. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay.
And that picked up a silver immediately. And talking to the brewers, and listen, this is one in a row, right? I don't want to overhype this.
Sure.
But speaking to them and being within the process, like, this is great. We're getting data we can use. We're making decisions based on customer feedback and market feedback that we can immediately use. This
Right.
isn't speaking to the drunk guy at the bar. Wait, how drunk are you? Are you making any sense?
But
Sure,
let's not completely denigrate that drunk guy
No,
at the bar,
no.
because we all have sat at our own bars and we've talked to the guy at the bar, the woman at the bar. What do you think of this beer? And when they give you feedback and you say, that's interesting, whether you think it is or not. Later on, they feel like, I talked to the brewer, and 2 weeks later or next batch, I think I like this one better.
Yeah.
Because I had some input. And that's kind of the way this works. Although it's more than one guy at the end of the bar. It's like all the people who have rated this beer. And they feel some ownership to the process, especially when the beer is remade. And they come back and they feel loyalty to it. And, we all want to sell beer, right?
Yeah.
And customer connection is one way to do that.
Sure.
And you're very right. And I don't want to denigrate the drunk guy at the bar, because this idea was pretty much a bunch of drunk guys, right? But some really smart drunk guys. So,
Yeah.
Like, there's me, who's not the really, really smart drunk guy. But like, we have literally the smartest AI guys in Australia. So this is one of the things the South Australian government has done really well. It really pitched hard to get the Australian Institute of Machine Learning, which is the 3rd highest rated institution in the world
Okay.
for computer visual AI research. I mean, Google, this is one of my, the things I'm most proud of. Their major partners are Google, Amazon, the Australian Defence Force, Microsoft, and Little Barossa Valley Brewing. It makes no sense.
I'm glad you didn't say Tesla.
I'm sure Tesla's there. They've all moved down there.
Right.
And so the head of that division is our director, one of the guys who headed up AI for the Australian Defence Force. He's a partner as well. We've got literally the smartest AI guys there. They just were fans of my beer.
I was going to say, it's pretty fascinating that you have that. And beer fans are just kind of that way. Beer is just such a universal language that I'm surprised you have that caliber, but not surprised at the same time, because everybody just loves beer.
Yeah.
You never know who's on the other side of the bar.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
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 So we sponsor, we supply beer for a startup, and the startup is next to this the Australian Institute of Machine Learning. And so we just met them and like, oh, these guys like your beer. And I was an AI geek. I've just, I found it fascinating.
Yeah.
And we just had like a rule, okay, because they didn't want to talk about machine learning. I didn't want to talk about beer anymore. So if I brought it around, they had to talk about machine learning.
Sure.
Right? They
Yeah.
brought it around, I had to talk about beer. And then it was sort of a drunk conversation that sort of led
To this, yeah. Okay.
So I don't want to denigrate drunk conversations.
Yeah,
They're
no,
amazing,
that's
right?
so, part of the beer. That's part of the beer world.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let me ask you this, and it's kind of a multifaceted question. But the first thing is, I sent out this message to the brewers that were involved in tonight. They were already doing tonight, and I had talked with you guys, and I actually was really surprised by the instant response. Everyone was like, "Cool, yeah, robot beer, let's do it."
Yeah.
And I really thought the response would be like, "I don't know, man. Maybe can we learn more about it?" But you guys all were just like, "Yeah, let's try," which was a little bit surprising to me. Not because I'm against robot beer, but I just thought it's a little bit of a controversial topic, right? Like people are like, "Oh, the Matrix is going to make our beer." But Justin, you didn't think that. Did you just think feedback is good? What was your thought process?
I mean, I'm all about feedback. I mean,
Yeah.
I will say this: like, when it's all said and done, I don't let our ratings or what people tell me what to do influence me.
Okay,
because that I think that's part of being a craft brewer is you make what you want to make.
Yeah,
you don't. I don't brew what people tell me to make. I brew what I want to make.
Okay.
But I thought it was like you said, it was like weeding out kind of like some of this bullshit. Like you said, like, oh, I don't like IPA, so I'm gonna rate you a 1.
It's
like,
useless information.
Yeah, but like you can get some maybe some legit positive feedback from this that you can apply going forward. Because yes, of course, we still take that into consideration.
Right.
But yeah.
And can I just say on that, this is the thing that has been surprising me. And you're right. Customers actually don't want you to slavishly go, oh, you want that? Fine. I'm going to just brew that for you, right? They don't want that. They actually just want to be heard, right? And then let you do what you do best. But if you then have listened to them and gone, okay, I listened to you. I'm going to do but I've taken that information, like I take all my information. That is super valuable. And as Dick said, while the AI, and this is new and we've got the smartest guys, but they're learning and they're collecting data, so the AI is learning. But what has been the immediate value is, and this is very early days, but our engagement has gone up over 800% when we've had a QR code on our cans, right? And what happens is, this is with all our beers, and I don't know if it's the same with yours, but we introduce a beer, it's all cool and hot, and everybody tries it, and then it just starts dropping, right?
Okay.
This hasn't happened. Right. So what's happened is people have gone, oh, okay, I can interact and okay, I've got a little bit of my say in here. And for the first time, hand on heart, we can say, yeah, we're considering all of this.
Right.
And sales don't drop. They go up because, and again, it's early days, so I don't want to overpromise.
So let me put a fine point on that, because I was in the beginning when Dick was explaining to me, just trying to still figure out how it works. But in essence, if a brewer decides to use this service, they put a QR code on whatever can that they're selling, and then every customer can, or in a bar. So if it's at my bar and I have it on tap, which is what I did tonight, by the way, I put out some of these QR codes on a coaster, and I said, hey, if you order any of the West Coast IPAs tonight and you feel like giving your feedback, scan this code. But you as a brewer, you would put it on your can and then hope that people engage, basically.
And it's free.
Yeah. Okay, right.
There's no cost to the brewer.
Yeah. God, how is everything free nowadays? It blows my mind. Denim, you'll have to tell me this off somewhere. But it blows my mind. So brewers can use it for free, and then their consumers interact. Okay, and then back to what you're saying, that's keeping them engaged with this super popular beer that normally would have just been like, cool, well, that was yesterday's beer.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know, even if it wasn't a super popular beer, but it becomes, people feel ownership, right?
Yeah.
They're like, as long as you can hand on heart, this is what we're trying to do on a broader scale. So we were at the Double IPA Festival over the weekend
at the Bistro,
right? Mm-hmm. Brilliant event, hallowed. I was really excited to be there.
Had both of your beers there.
Yes, awesome, right? Seriously, the beers were really good. And I was talking to Vic, and he told us about how, at the very start, he called up Vinny at Russian River and said, "Hey, we're doing this. Can you create this beer in this style?" And he was like, "Yeah, okay, we can do this." And that was Pliny the Elder, right?
Right.
And I was like, I was almost embarrassed. I went, okay,
but that's analog.
What?
And very analog, yeah.
The Elder.
Right. Right. So because I went in there and I was like, oh, this is embarrassing. This is like a flagship, and I haven't tried it, so I have to have that beer. And so, let me tell you the story, right?
Yeah.
Now, that beer is going to be there forever, and all his customers know this and feel a connection to the brewery, right?
Sure, already. Yeah.
But you could do that 25, 30 years ago. You can't do that now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How do we...
Or at least not reliably.
Right. How do we keep that connection where the customer feels a connection to the brewery, right? When the industry has expanded so much.
Yeah.
Right? And that whole event there, every customer was just there to feel a little bit of that connection to the brewers,
Sure.
right?
You realize the irony in this statement that you're making, right? You're saying that AI is going to keep us connected to the brewery, which is much more, in at least traditionally, an analog experience. It's a bold statement. I don't disagree with you, by the way, but you do realize that sort of irony there.
I don't know if it's ironic. Honestly, I think AI allows for the transfer of data more efficiently.
Yeah.
Analog is just a less efficient transfer of data, right?
Right.
And so that community was built by just transferring data. I mean, that's oh my gosh, I've hung around with these AI guys too long now. I just bored myself.
Go ahead, Ian. Yeah.
What it brings to my mind is, I mean, Mitch Steele came out before he left. I think it was right around the time he left Stone or before that. And he said that brands nowadays, like beer brands, Stone Pale Ale, Stone IPA, whatever, you've only got a 2 to 3 year shelf life. Not shelf life for individual beer, but like shelf life on that brand.
Right.
Like
to be in the hearts and minds
the
of the
consumer is going to get tired of that brand
Yeah.
at some point in time. And so I kind of like where you're going with it. If you can evolve that brand. I mean, we all try to evolve our brands.
Right.
Every time we brew them or every 6 months, whatever it is. But if you can evolve it with the hearts and minds of the consumer, that's kind of cool.
And that's what I was thinking of too, is that you're all like this beer that you guys have been brewing every year, you change a little bit. The most popular beer on earth, Pliny the Younger, that comes out every year, he changes it a little. I think he added Nectaron this year, I heard. So it's
good.
It's evolving anyway. Why not have this sort of direct participation?
Yeah. I mean, again, the guy like Vic is going to have that forever. You can't replicate that. You can't scale that, right? But I think the reason why that's always going to be on tap and all his customers are going to be engaged, and he's not, the Pliny the Elder, at least in that bar, won't have it's had a 23-year, right, shelf life. And the reason is because there's a connection.
Yeah.
How do you build that connection? And I think that connection is communication. And I'm going to stop using the word
and
data.
scarcity.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, true. That does help as well. Right? But I mean, I want you stop using the word data. It's communication. And if you can communicate with people and do it honestly, right? And I think that's what we do, right? Right now, so in a past life, I worked for a bank and we would do these surveys and we get these consultants in and, it was all rubbish, right? It was just to show people, it was to show the investors, we've interviewed these people or we've surveyed this amount of people.
Yeah.
If AI allows you to hand on heart say, hey, we have taken this off, and you can filter out the rubbish.
Yeah.
Right? But you can still hand on heart say, every input's been considered and I've made a decision. And this is the important thing. This is the thing that I was really surprised about. Customers they want you to do what you do really well.
Well, they want to be beguiled.
Right? Yeah, they do. But if they can have a part in that, right? If they can go, hey, this guy's listened to me.
Yeah.
Right? If you can talk to, I don't know, Elton John and say, wouldn't this be amazing to put this lyric in? And suddenly you hear that lyric in a song. You'd be, oh my God.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is sort of what the customer wants. And it gives them the ability to go, oh my gosh.
I actually asked for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to call Elton John right now.
Okay, do that.
I'm going to bring us to a quick break because this is fascinating. I want to talk more about it. And I want to talk about something that you and I talked about on Friday at the SF Beer Week opening at 21st Amendment. And that was that somebody asked you, I think it was like, what if the opposite is asked of us? What if the feedback we get is like don't do this to the beer? I think some brewer had asked you but what about the negative commentary that we get? And I want to talk about that when we get back. So more from Deep Liquid, more from the Brewers on Hand. I do want to declare right now, though, before the end of the show, so far, and I've tried them all, so I think it's a conclusion. My favorite West Coast IPA of our event. Ready?
Bring it on.
Pizza Port.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
No, I'm serious. Not just because.
Wow.
No, sorry,
First of all,
bro.
Pizza Port's never made a West Coast.
Yeah, they're not like the legendary kings of the West Coast.
No, all hell Pizza Port. Yes.
Save Bandit.
All right.
is my favorite
Fuck you.
West Coast IPA of the night. It's crystal clear. It's bright. It's hoppy. It has all the things I'm looking for in like a super drinkable West Coast IPA. Maybe it's all Pilsner malt. I don't fucking know. Do you know the whole recipe?
There's a touch of wheat.
There's a touch of wheat.
touch of wheat.
And the rest
There
is
it is.
Pilsner malt?
This is Pilsner.
See?
There it is.
So you guys are on
All
to
right,
something.
all right, we're changing this recipe. Fuck this shit.
Right?
They didn't tap Dankster Squad tonight, so
Yeah. You don't even know.
There's still time. All right, hang in there. We've got a lot more to do here on the session, and we're excited to do it. You're listening to me and the Brewing Network. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the session. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We are having a fun time at the Hop Grenade with our West Coast is the best coast. God, I'm so used to everything at the Hop Grenade being a challenge right now. This one's not a challenge. We're just showcasing a bunch of awesome West Coast beers. They will be on tap for the rest of the week, and we've got more Beer Week events going on too, including the remainder of our Hop Grenade Brewery of the Year Challenge. Our finalists, one of them just left the room, are Ghost Town and Wondrous, who is also here today. So on Thursday, you get to vote for the best brewery of 2022. I know that sounds weird, but we just cull all the information from the whole year. The Brewing Network picks their favorite 16. The Hop Grenade picks their favorite 16. And then all of you folks get to vote on the best. So we're down to the last two on Thursday night. So come out for that. And we're going to have some of these other West Coast IPAs on as well. Also, before I move on to our final segment, I want to thank our wonderful sponsor, the 21st Amendment. Sully has been with me since, I think, show 3 or something. He's just been such a supporter of the program, and I love him very much. Go check out their Strong Beer Week releases. Strong Beer Week existed before SF Beer Week. Him and Dave from Magnolia invented Strong Beer Week. It's been going on for such a long time, and they're still doing that. Sorry, I think I muted you, or you muted yourself over here. There you go.
Thank you, Justin. I'm
Yeah.
back on the doc mic. I think
Yeah,
I muted
yeah.
myself, unfortunately.
Nate, they
Back
did
on
it
it.
before SF Beer Week
It's
ever
like
existed.
2-3 years before.
So
Yeah.
you can still go check out, go to 21st-amendment.com and look at all of their strong beer releases, and then thank them for supporting the Brewing Network, because we're here because of folks like them, and we appreciate it very much. All right, so we still have a couple more beers in front of us. I already proclaimed that Pizza Port was my favorite West Coast IPA tonight. Nate, what do you think of that decision?
Pete Sport's pretty badass.
Yeah,
I did like,
it's a nice beer.
I think the Westies from Alvarado Street might be my personal favorite, but
That's a good beer.
it's a really damn good beer.
I think Dick liked Fuck Money More Hops. Is that what it's called?
Liquid
I just
Gravity.
like the name.
It's a
Liquid
good
Gravity.
name.
It is.
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure.
props
It's a
to
great
that
name.
crew for that. You used to never be able to do that, but now you can.
Right, even
Yeah.
on the air.
Yep.
Yeah, and here
Because
you can
the
say
air
it.
isn't the air anymore.
The air is
It
fake
isn't.
air. Yeah,
It's the new air. I have
Yeah.
the Ghost Town in front of me right now, which is excellent.
yeah, that's
It
it.
is super
Although
excellent.
the liquid gravity beer is quite good.
That's a nice beer. Great brewery. I've been making fun of him all night, but Brendan, I'm bummed you couldn't make it tonight. He's down like 8 brewers or something. It's just him and one other person brewing around the clock. So
Oh,
he
we got to
couldn't
go
make it
bug him
tonight,
now. We
but,
should annoy him. That'd be great.
yeah, he needs a
He'd
brewer.
appreciate
Nate,
that.
If
Oh,
you're looking for a fourth job,
He needs some hands, for sure.
Right. Okay, so I did want to wrap up a little bit with Deep Liquid and just talk more about this because we're so excited about it. And then the idea here, by the way, and we're going to try it. We sort of hastily put it together on my end here. We're trying to get feedback on the breweries that were here today, Ian, and so that hopefully we get enough data that you might rebrew the beer. And of course, Denham, you mentioned that. Part of the key here is we got to get enough data. So if we don't do it this time around, we'll do it on another one. But the hope is maybe we will get it tonight, and then you guys will rebrew this beer, and we'll be back here.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Talking about it. Either way, I'm going to follow this story because I'm excited about it, and I think I'm going to bring my brewer friends along with me to keep trying it out. But I teased before the break that there was this other side of the AI that could happen, and that is the AI can give you these sort of percentages, right? Like, there's an 80% chance that if you do this, you might find some success, right? On the flip side, and I think a brewer brought this up to you, if the data ends up saying there's a 5% chance if you do this, it'll be a success. But if it sounds like a really cool idea or something to this effect, would you still do it?
Yeah. So I got to say, like, everybody else, like, why are you doing this here? And part of the reason is, like, this is almost like the birthplace of innovation, whether it's craft beer or tech, right? And so I came here for that reason. And I think the brewer was like, well, don't people want to be surprised? And, like, what if, like, don't people want to just, like, how are we going to do that, right? Because if it's just telling them what they like, then how are we going to surprise them? I was like, that's a good point. And
you mentioned that earlier. We could have just end up with Tsingtao, like whatever the most popular beer is. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't do that because we train the neural network, so it becomes what we want, right?
Okay.
But still, like, the customer wants to be surprised. Like, how do we surprise them? And I was like, that's a really good point, because we are actually taking the chance of you going, oh, I'll never try that again. But this happens to me all the time. I'll try a beer. I was like, I'm glad I had that. I'll never have it again, right?
Yeah.
And I think we all do that. You don't want to take that out of the beer experience. Yeah. So we can, and the guy's name I'm pretty sure was
Santiago.
Santiago. So I went, you know what? This is brilliant, Santiago. I'm going to call this the Santiago sample.
Yeah.
And it might be like, you know what? The AI is telling us there's only a 7% chance you'll like this beer. You want to try it? Right?
Right, yeah.
So, but we can do that, and that's
it's kind of a nice challenge, actually.
It is wondrous, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, wow, because, again, life's like that. Like, the stuff that you don't think you like that you like, that's one of the joys of life, right? And you don't want to take this out.
Right. And that's kind of, when you mentioned it to me at the fest we were, I just thought, well, man, that's just such an excellent point, because what we're expecting from the data is to how to gear the beer toward what people like. And I think for the most part, that's a good idea. But yeah, what about the one that's like, yeah, you know what? Pretty much no one's going to like it. Want to try it? And that's, as a brewer, I'd be like, yeah, I want to try it.
I'm much more cynical about it. Like, I think about, like, was it Britain's Navy that put out the call to name their new boat?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was troll driven. It was Bodie McBoatface.
Right.
Right? Like,
I was a fan of Rum Sodomy in the Lab.
I see that happening, where you got just this army of trolls.
Absurd stuff,
You know,
basically, right? Yeah.
They didn't use any artificial
The
intelligence.
beer industry is already a bunch of
Right.
a bunch of basement dwellers.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like that's what they're doing.
Right.
But they didn't
you're
use
going to
any
get the
artificial.
occasional good idea, even if it sounds stupid. That's what in fact, there's a lot of great ideas that sound stupid.
Yeah.
So I thought it was fascinating that the AI could even give you that. The stupid idea that might work.
But again, it's about just, I want to distill it down to communication. You're communicating with your customer, right?
Yeah.
And so imagine you being able to talk to all your customers, and, you know, because we do this all the time. You're like, I do this at the bar. Like, you know what? I don't think you'll like this, but try it.
Yeah.
You know, see what you think.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you know what? Here, to have a taste.
Totally.
Right? That's important. It's about the communication. It's just how do we scale this?
Right.
Because the industry has gotten to a size where right now, unfortunately, is like you communicate with a massive marketing budget, right? And guys, definitely my size, right, don't have the marketing budget to compete with the AB and Bevs, and they're using AI, and that's all power to them. I'm not against the big guys. I just want to be able to create a playing field where the little guys can become and compete with the big guys.
And let's put a fine point on that too, which I haven't talked about on the show a lot, but like, so Safeway is our big grocery store chain, at least on the West Coast here, right? And if you think that they're not using AI to figure out not just all of your purchasing, but your beer purchasing. So Safeway now has this massive beer aisle, right? And I've had been privy to some conversations about the folks who sort of run that AI. And if you think that distributors and the big brewers and the big distributors aren't evaluating every single, like, for example, every distributor on the planet knows how much I love Sierra Nevada Pale Ale because I buy it from Safeway.
It's in your profile they've created for you, Justin.
Oh my
Like,
God. They're like, he buys is cheddar cheese and Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. Like, they just know this about me, and that's through AI because I punch in my little loyalty card, right? And they just know Justin loves this stuff.
You save 3 cents, but they know everything about you.
Yeah, exactly
Indeed.
right.
It's quite a trade, really.
I love that you're mentioning this, like, sort of the big guys are already doing it, but the small brewers aren't because, if you're under some illusion that AI isn't already in your beer purchasing life, if you go to Safeway or what's the new one called? Wine Warehouse or something?
Indeed.
The new Bevmo, is that what it's called now? I don't know. I think
maybe
Wine Warehouse is
Total Wine.
Total Wine. Exactly.
Wine
That's
Warehouse
the
is like a
distributor was the
yeah.
thing with it. Yeah.
Whatever. They all have my number.
Exactly.
They all know I like Ghost Town and Sierra Nevada.
They're definitely all doing it. I think
Yeah.
the difference. This is what I'm trying, and there's a movement. I'm just a small cog in this movement, but AI, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. It's coming, right?
Yeah.
So how are we going to manage this, right?
It's exciting.
Now there is a couple of models. There's Xi Jinping. He's got a model, and basically. China's going to control this and harvest a lot of data and do what he wants with it.
Harvesting is a polite word.
It is a polite word, right?
Right.
So
Yeah,
Being
harvesting is
really charitable here.
Right?
Like,
They're not just collecting. Like if you were in China,
Indeed.
it wasn't like Sierra Pale Ale and like they're collecting a lot.
Right.
But then there's also the other model where the big corporations are collecting a lot of data and then deciding how to influence your purchasing patterns to like. You might not even like Sierra Nevada. It might be just they've figured out how to
sell it to me.
How to sell it to you, right?
Yeah.
They're like Justin likes pale ale, so he must like Sierra Nevada.
So
Like whether you bought it or not.
a way for you
fair
to
point.
actually
Price per ounce.
move your purchasing patterns, and it's much cheaper for them to affect your purchasing patterns than to change a product. We can swap this. We can actually put the power of AI into consumers' hands.
Right.
So that guys like us can go, okay, we're listening. We're going to take this data and not just try to manipulate you, but brew what you and I want. We're going to have that conversation, right?
And try to cater to
And
what you want.
Right. And it's not just
Exactly.
brewing what you want blindly. It is that, that meeting point where, I've listened to what you've said. This is what I think is really good. I'm using all my knowledge and my passion and what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
But I've taken on board what you said in here. Try this.
Right.
You've used that data, and I think the democratization of data is something that everybody needs to be involved with. That's a conversation that I think everybody needs to have. This is the 5th most, and I'm sorry, pointing to my beer, so it's
okay.
I'm pointing to my beer. It's the 5th most consumed liquid on the planet.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? It is a wonderful vehicle to say, here, take control of your data, like get involved and, don't let the big guys or like, Xi Jinping decide how your data is used.
Right.
You get involved. Everybody has to get involved. Otherwise, we just have AI imposed upon us.
And you're giving it away.
We're giving it away. It's our data.
For no
nothing.
response to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's ours.
Yeah.
Like, get involved. So, one, I love my beer, and I think this is really important. And, people like Dick and so on and so forth have got involved. So this is what I'm passionate about.
Yeah. Well, it comes across, and I'm excited about it too. Dick got me excited about it in the first place. I do want to say the second part of this that I really like that you said is that beer is still the 5th most popular liquid on Earth. Because even here during SF Beer Week on the opening gala, I still had to listen to some people, some naysayers, be like, "Well, beer's on the decline. I don't know what we're going to do." And I'm like, shit, my whole life is wrapped up in this beverage. It's still the 5th most popular beverage on
Number
Earth.
1 alcoholic beverage.
Yeah, see. So we got a ways to go before this thing's dying.
It's not done yet.
Just in case you were worried.
No. I wasn't worried, but I kind of was now.
Yeah,
Now,
right.
You guys need to come over to my part of the world. Like, it is growing massively. So the
I believe
craft
it.
beer, industry in Australia and in Asia, like Dick spent some time there, he'll tell you, it's like going back 20, 30 years.
You can't afford my beer if I ship to Australia.
It gets expensive.
Talk to Denham. He wants to ship some of these beers
okay,
there
cool.
to
Nice.
take interest.
Yeah.
I just want to go back to we used the word irony earlier
Yeah.
to talk about sort of a paradox with this, that there was that using artificial intelligence fostered greater connection with the human consumer.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of a stickler for the use of the word irony.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people just say that they think a coincidence is irony.
Yeah, sure.
I think irony has a hidden intelligence, and that's exactly what this has.
What this is, yeah. So
indeed.
a real irony. Yeah.
So,
Dick's so
question, if
Somebody
you
write
don't
that
mind.
down, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a brewer might make a decision that they think is contrary just for fun and say, like, I'm going to brew a 1995 red ale just because it's not what I think normally
People, yeah.
sells, just for fun. If a brewer trained an AI or gave their data to an AI to make that decision instead, maybe that would be an interesting twist
Sure.
as a way to make a decision that they wouldn't have normally made themselves about a different or contrarian idea. Kind of back to the thing we talked about up top, which is, how do I make the beer that maybe somebody else wants that
Yeah.
I'm not thinking I want to make?
Totally.
And that red ale,
Maybe that's why you surrender that control, right?
well, at least look at that data. That might the red ale who I joked about this on last
We've had
night.
badass red ales from 1995 that we sometimes occasionally encounter. They're still really good.
and we miss them.
Yep.
And there are products available to synthesize that imprecision.
Yeah.
Would the AI choose that?
Yes.
Probably not.
Yes.
The brewer might, just to be fun and contrary. The AI might say, you should brew, I don't know, Justin, what do you think?
Yeah.
But
I don't
you
know,
could
Denim, what do you
flip-
think?
Well, you could flip it though, and if you chose to brew that, the AI could also flip that to say, okay, here are the people who would appreciate that.
Yeah,
right?
oh, for
Exactly.
sure. I mean,
Which is
we
why
brew
you
a
have
good amount of
that
red ale.
level,
Exactly.
that tool in your toolbox to help
Yeah.
you decide what
Yeah.
works for you in terms of building what thing is cool for you.
And Justin, when like you were talking about, it's ironic, like
Careful.
okay, so I'm not. Okay.
Paradoxical is the better, yeah.
Exactly.
It's my fault, yeah.
So so people would know that maybe not. Dick's a writer and an author, so you want to be very careful.
That's
with your
right.
choose of
Word choice is
and
important.
Vocabulary.
yeah.
So, but I'm sure when Alexander Graham Bell created the telephone, people were like, what the hell? Like, this is going to ruin communication. People aren't going to see each other. Like, I would say the telephone
was the opposite.
The opposite.
You're right.
It connected people.
It's a great point.
Right. This is.
Yeah, we were talking earlier, too, about how this is a tool. And there's some misgivings sometimes that people have, like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure I trust this. I think this is the end of the universe, all that kind of stuff. But 500 years ago, people weren't using thermometers. That might have been the devil's instrument.
You're right.
I want nothing to do with this little thing that's actually going to help me.
No, it's the rule of thumb only.
But
Yes.
new things come along.
It's how you read data and what you do with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here, because again, the home of innovation, I assumed, and I got to say, even in Australia, I thought I'd have in my pocket exactly that argument, right? That I'm sure people, went, electricity, no, this is, refrigeration, oh, this is, we should, this is a tool and it's not going away. And I thought that, like, Silicon Valley, this area that just, innovates so much. But I got to say, like, I've had to pull out that argument so infrequently, I can't actually remember having to do so.
I remember you telling me that, and I was surprised. Even in our thread with the brewers here that immediately accepted it, there were still a bunch of jokes about the robots taking over,
of
right?
course it's going to be.
But I was surprised to hear that you haven't had a lot of pushback yet. Although that's exactly what we're hearing from the brewers tonight.
But if we could weaponize Yelp or Untapped,
there we go,
or Beer Advocate,
yeah,
to make us better brewers, I'm all about it.
And unfortunately, right now, you can't unless you have hours and hours to cull that information yourself.
It's not our data. We don't have control over it.
No, of course.
That's it.
Well, yeah, there's opportunities there.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I think we could be doing, like, and I say we as in Deep Liquiders, could be reaching out to the Untapped to say, hey, there's a way for you to take this, which is really not terribly helpful at this point. And I know they Untapped has this issue where they have an issue with retention, because eventually everybody who uses it realizes I'm the only person using this, reading this, right?
Yeah.
I'm the only one who reads my own review.
I'm the only one who reads it, right?
And they'll give you data and look.
That's a good point.
Wait, what? I'm deleting my
They'll
account.
give you data, but it costs a lot of money.
Right.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that part.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's also not terribly useful. I think if we can attach artificial intelligence to that, so we can train, and also, so I don't know if you guys have used the app yet, but gives you little style guidelines. And what we can do is we can get the brewers to actually go, here, what are the style guidelines? So it guides people as to what the brewers are looking for, right?
Yeah.
And then if we can integrate that into Untapped, and then again use our AI to filter out what isn't helpful, then suddenly Untapped, which is, not a tool that brewers use, we may be able to use it, right?
Yeah.
And at the very least, what happens is the guys that are putting up the reviews, it's not just they're writing notes for themselves to read and nobody else.
Right.
So I think there's an opportunity there. There's huge scope.
Well, on the last show, and we'll wrap this up too, but on the last show, we were discussing just this part of the Brewing Network's career. It's the Brewing Network's been here for 18 years, and a lot of our revenue in the past was merchandise. And you brewers, Dick, I'm sure you know this, like, you hear from people, oh my, you got to have this one piece of merchandise. You got to have baby onesies or whatever. And it sounds like you're getting it from a lot of people. It turns out it's 7 people who told you to buy baby onesies with your hop grenade on it, and then you own baby onesies for 14 years because you bought you bought 1 million baby onesies to sell at the brewery. It's data again that sounds like it's a lot of voices, and it turned out that the 7 people who asked you are the 7 people who bought the baby onesie. Mm-hmm. And the same thing happens in here now. We get some brewers come in, or customers rather. They're like, we just wish you had an amber ale. And on certain months of the year, it sounds like everybody wants an amber ale. So we put on an amber ale. And then it's the longest lasting keg that we have. At the same time, we might find out that this 90s red ale could be a popular beer. So I just love this, this way to sort of cull data in a better, smarter, non-monkey brain. You mentioned it earlier, way to just help us make better decisions. Because I have a garage full of merchandise from 18 years ago.
7 recommendations came in, turned into 7 boxes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, boy, they really want these onesies. No, they didn't.
And I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, the fact of the matter is, this isn't going away, right?
Yeah.
We either use it, right, or we just go the way of the dodo.
Or honestly, be abused by it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. We use it or abused by it.
I really think so. That's what I'm saying about Safeway. I'm not saying Safeway's evil or whatever, but they're just taking all my data for nothing, and it doesn't do me any good. No. It does them a lot of good, but not me. I love it.
Final thought for me, what I'm thinking about is, it's experiential. Like, it really is. If you can have control over your experience, then you want to be a part of it, right? Like, I had a buddy, and this goes back years. I've been making beers for a long time. But I took him to Noble one time when Evan was still there. And Evan poured him a beer off the sample cock.
Yeah. Off the fermenter.
He still talks about it to this day.
Right.
Like, it was the
interaction.
Like, it was the pivotal beer experience in his life.
Right.
Because he was a part of it.
Yeah. Just to be a part of it.
He got to experience it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you can have the freshest beer you ever want from me. Just let me know.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't want that. He wants that experience again.
Sure.
The connection.
And he was connected.
Totally.
I just wanted to one last, because I really appreciate the format you've given me, because what we wanted here was just feedback. Mm-hmm. So I was talking to Justin, who just had to leave, and he's like, listen, I'm really interested in this. I've got some concerns, because he didn't see it was suspicious, but he was, he wants to delve into and question things. I was like,
sure,
this is what I want. This is the reason I flew over here for these guys who have helped create the industry. And I've got one sitting right next to me, Dick.
Mm-hmm.
Punch holes in this. Yeah. Tell me where this can fall down, where the issues are. Like I said, this isn't a launch, this is an introduction.
Yeah.
Because all the brewers that are out there, Denim at Deep Liquid, look me up.
There we go.
And tell me where you see the problems, where you see us falling over. Because, we came here very specifically because the knowledge here is like no other. And I'm not just saying this, you guys know this, right? This is, the home. So, let me know.
Yeah, if it's not you, it's somebody else.
You can find the QR code on the website.
You can find the code on the website.
Poke around at it and see what it looks like.
.com?
.ai.
.ai, yeah. Okay.
Deepliquid.ai. Jump on there.
Sorry, we also kind of alluded to the idea of a follow-up event for this.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping that some of the brewers who get this data will brew new alternate versions of some of the beers that have been reacted to.
Yes.
And we're hoping to have some sort of event here.
Love it.
To be able to do a side-by-side and have people sort of see what has happened.
What the differences are. How it worked out. Okay, so deepliquid.ai, and if you don't mind, I'm going to put it in the show notes. So if you're tuned in now, you can go back to the show notes. You can click on that. You can check out the info, and then you can contact Denim directly if you've got questions. I love that, too. Yeah, like you said, this is a new thing where you're trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong. So let's do that together. I love this. We're going to make some robot beer.
We're resolving right and wrong. Wow.
Yeah. You are, exactly. Dick? You got broad shoulders, I hope. You guys got to figure this out. All right. Thank you to everybody for tuning in today and all of our brewers for participating in West Coast, Best Coast Night. It was a lot of fun for me to get to taste these beers and talk to you brewers. Some of you traveled, like Ian. Nate had to travel via BART, which is just like coming from another country sometimes.
It is sometimes. You never know. It's an adventure out there. It's good.
Yeah, so thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Denim, Dick, I really appreciate you guys. I'm excited to follow this story and see where you guys go. I think it's going to be super interesting, and I'm definitely looking forward to a follow-up event here that we can taste these beers too. I'm going to go scan the QR code. I'm just going to write in, I really like Pizza Port, and everyone else was just okay. I don't know what the AI is going to do with that, but we'll see. All right. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. We got more shows coming up for you. SF Beer Week is back, so we've got a lot happening this week. More shows coming up. I got Trillium coming on the show soon. Some great brewers from there.
Ooh, nice.
I'm going to be talking to Julian Schrago from Beechwood.
Oh, get Julian back in Beechwood. Old school. Awesome. Yeah.
And I'm really excited. I'm going to have Adair from Sante Adarius on the show soon. Yeah, so we've got a lot of good upcoming guests to talk to us about wonderful beer and doing some events here at the Hop Grenade. Take care of yourselves. Be safe during Beer Week and every other week. And take care of yourselves and your beer. Cheers.
The Session is a production of the Brewing Network and brought to you by More Beer. Check them out at morebeer.com. Find more content and live video of this show on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Brewing Network. For sponsorship opportunities and information, please reach out to advertising@thebrewingnetwork.com. To reach our hosts, contact feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com.